Why do drag queens want to be dancing in front of children? Why is that necessary? What are you trying to do?
Pride Month and an offshore island. Two words you never want to hear in the same sentence together. I of course want to get a glimpse into what's really going on at Pride Island. However, typically straight cis white males like myself aren't welcome at recruitments.
We're not trying to recruit.
Events like this. So how do we blend in? Well, first, we gotta get into character. We're going undercover to expose the secrets of what's really going on at an LGBT Island Pride event. We've all seen Twitter lately. Will there actually be kids at this event?
Of course there are kids.
Will we get caught?
They say they're not recruiting, but by trying to make everything normal right down to the level of children is recruiting. So there was Big Tobacco used to try to market to kids, and finally people came out and really pushed against it and created certain parameters on how and where they could advertise so that children weren't being sold into smoking, which caused cancer. So they went to nations where there were no restrictions, and there were African nations where, like, right outside of schools, they had cigarette stands. So they would get those kids addicted early on in life. Imagine that is so disturbing. But this is a similar play. You just make it normal. You bring children in and make it seem like this is what children should be focusing on and talking about. And they'll do it under the banner of love is love. But why should children be concerned? Why should children be twerking? Because that's what's going on in this video. No, you're not a pedo for watching it, unless you came to watch it because you're a pedo.
Are you grabbing the camera?
You don't get to use that footage and take advantage of LGBTQ people.
We're not taking advantage of anyone. Will they be trying to hide what's going on?
He is Satan,
No, it doesn't
and
mean that.
he
It doesn't mean that.
respects his son's pronoun because he is Satan.
Time to find out.
Alright kids, welcome to Central Island. My name is Misery. I'm your show's The Drag Show. Oh yeah. Man, that's my sugar. And this is my little doggy friend. Hi, you like the doggy? Hi, what's your name? Emily. Hi, Emily. How are you? You want to dance for the people? You good? What? No, F that. I'm out of here. Alright, we don't do this. Huh? You trying to take my job from me, aren't you? She just walked up to me and was like, what you do? Hey, you want to do a little dance number for me? Okay. Well, let me back.
I'm surprised you have kids dancing at the drag.
No, be at the ring! And here you go, this is all you. Now break down.
What the hell do children have to do with that? What does a little kid need to be up on a stage dancing for people at a celebration of who you want to sleep with? What is the point of this? I think it's so disturbing. So you've heard me talk about it before. There are two kinds of childhood sexual abuse. One is non-contact, one is contact. Non-contact is also loosely known as grooming. So that is showing children sexual content, putting them in sexual situations, and, forcing sexual conversations on them. That isn't what this event is. If this event is about sexuality and now also intertwined with gender, it's grooming. And they'll say it's not grooming, but it is, because they'll say it's not grooming because they don't understand what grooming is. They haven't bothered to look up the definition of child sexual abuse and the grooming phase that goes into it. And what happens when kids are groomed is their barriers are put down. So now they see adults as sexual objects. They start to, even though it's uncomfortable, see themselves as sexual objects for adults. They look at other children and see them as sexual objects, and everything just becomes about us running around, humping each other like bunnies without any control. And that's what all of society, that's what they're trying to create, where that's everything. And that's the most important thing. And that way, pedos can have the right to have sex with children because they're minor attracted persons and they deserve respect. Some wacko bullshit are we being taught. We're going to have a big problem in 10, 15, 20 years when these kids who have all been groomed and ultimately over-sexualized and ultimately abused start feeling the effects of the sexual abuse, which is really serious. 3 times more likely to commit suicide. It's just one. So far, nothing wrong.
You know it.
can't make this up. We come to a pride event and we're watching a kid dance for 5 minutes. What the fuck is this, bro? It's so weird.
Somebody is trying to take my job. Give it up for Sophie Marie!
And the parents are so proud. They feel like they're teaching their kid to be anything but a MAGA lunatic. All right, so look at this. This is a sexy costume. Okay, but again, in the right place, it's fine. Do you ever notice that there's nobody ever trying to bring children into a strip club with naked women dancing? There was a guy, he was a conservative. God, I wish I could remember his name right now. And he had this whole couple months long thing where he was trying to make it say it's okay to bring his young sons to Hooters. And I'll tell you, and I unfollowed the guy because I was like, why are you doing that to your kids? That is no better than this. It is not appropriate because in Hooters, they have the waitresses do this little dance where they pretend that they have, it's something about a bar of soap, and they pretend that they're using a bar of soap and rubbing it all over their body, like they're in the shower, while they're dressed in spandex skin tight shorts and half tops. It's sexualized. We all know it. It is what it is. It's fine. But this guy's trying to make it seem like he should bring his boys to that so they end up being more masculine. No, you're over-sexualizing your children at a young age. So this isn't just about liberals pushing this agenda. This was a conservative guy pushing an over-sexualizing agenda. Everybody that's doing it needs their fucking head checked.
People.
So what does your shirt mean?
What does my shirt mean? So it just means that when people want to be called something, they should be respected, and you should call them what they want to be called. It's just basic respect. Cultures all around the world have this basic rule. It's not an exception. It's nothing weird about that.
Why Satan?
Because Satan's awesome.
Satan's awesome?
Yeah.
Are you
Satan's
religious
awesome.
at all?
I am, but I'm not a Satanist. Yeah, I have my own strange off-the-wall religion thing, but I'm not pushing an agenda here. This is just supposed to be fun and funny and all that. Since you're talking to a guy who's a religious studies nerd, I have like multiple degrees in religious studies, I'll tell you that Satan is oftentimes
I get it. If you don't have a close relationship with God, you could think of making jokes about the devil and making jokes about Satan as being amusing. Like, this is fun. No biggie. Ha ha ha. Satan loves pronouns. But the reality is we're in a fight of good versus evil. People trying to take children and mutilate them and say that it's for good. That's bonkers that people have been overtaken with that mentality. So him making this joke, it bothers me in a way that maybe it wouldn't have 10 years ago, because I really see it as a problem. Because let him explain it. You'll see.
things on the edge or things on the outside, groups of people or individuals who have legitimate things to do, legitimate things to say, legitimate options, legitimate things that they want to do with their lives, but are often rejected by the mainstream. But they're still legitimate. That's kind of what that means.
Legitimate. Could you say
Okay,
the
so
word legitimate one more time? He said these things that aren't accepted by the mainstream are legitimate. So they're making it seem like anything goes. Anything that you want to do is legit. No, it's not. They are breaking down the barriers of what's normal so much, or they're trying to. They're trying to convince us, pretending that a 2-year-old boy who picked up his big sister's tutu is now a girl is normal. No, it's not. Give me a break. What the hell are you even talking about? I'm so done with the lack of logic and the lack of truth. Look at what just happened in the state of Michigan. In the state of Michigan this week, they put out a law that says that if you misgender somebody, you can be fined up to $10,000 and do up to 5 years in prison if you do it on purpose. You know what? These trannies, they're misgendering themselves. You're going to lock them up because a man in a dress is misgendering himself. He's a man. I'm so tired of these people lying to us. And somebody recently said to me, "Oh, you saying those people is so bad." I mean, give me a break. That's what you're caught up on? That's what you're caught up on. They're mutilating children and making a billion-dollar industry out of it. They're putting pornography in schools, things that you're not able to watch on mainstream television, that you're not allowed to talk about out loud in school boards, and they're putting it in classrooms. And that's what you're kind of caught up, that I said those people, because by those people I don't just mean the transgender people pushing it. I mean the politicians and the teachers and the people all around the world standing in the street with their kids at a pride parade while some psycho pedo shakes his junk in front of them. Those are the people I'm talking about.
Media portrays marginalized groups as satanic.
No. This is not.
Sonny's just messing with this guy now.
It's just that Satan is a symbol of those folks who are on the edge. And some of those folks embrace that symbolism.
One of the biggest problems I've noticed the conservatives have with the whole movement is about showing it to kids. That's what I've seen on social media a lot. What do you think of that?
Showing what to kids exactly?
Like,
This guy in his tidy whities on Boylston Street in Boston, where people were killed during the Boston Marathon, by the way. Not that it's sacred ground, but it is to an extent. So this guy in his tidy whities with that look on his face, shaking his junk for children. As a grown woman, that makes me cross my legs and cross my arms and lean back and feel skeevy and feel like there's something gross and inappropriate going on. If that happened in your house, if your neighbor came over and acted like that in front of your daughters and even your son, your little kids, say you had a 4, 6, 8-year-old sitting there and that somebody came over and did that, you'd be okay with it? Would you? Because if you would, let's talk. Let me put some facts to you about what grooming and sexual abuse looks like. Because if you would be okay with that, I think you should have your children taken away from you. But if it's not okay at home, it's also not okay in public. Because if you allow your kids to sit with that in public, what the hell are you allowing to go on in your own home?
Teaching LGBTQ stuff in school, what do you think of all of that? Should it be taught more or taught less?
Kids being exposed to these things in public in a safe environment and learning about them in school, that's what school is for, and that's what the public arena is. This isn't dangerous. None of this is dangerous. Nothing like this is a threat. This would be like saying other religious groups are automatically a threat. Like saying Muslims are a threat because they're Muslim. They're not.
I don't know how much more clear I can be. Grooming leads to contact sexual abuse. Grooming is non-contact sexual abuse, and it opens the door to contact sexual abuse, which opens the door to lifelong physical, mental, and behavioral problems that have been studied for decades. How this guy says that there's no danger in this situation really either tells me that he is a dark, evil lunatic, or he's completely uneducated. We have to get the word out and help people to really understand what grooming is, what child sexual abuse is, and what the long-term dangers are to individuals and to society.
Just another alternative. It's just another way that people can think and live and be. And LGBTQ folks are the same thing. And if this fits who you are as an individual, whether you're Muslim, Satanist, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter, because there's something dangerous there. It's good for people to feel that they should be accepted and have a path forward for them that works for them. That's what's important. So yes, it should be in the public.
Okay, all right.
No.
Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah.
What's important is protecting children. Adults making their own choices is one thing.
His shirt means that he is Satan
No, it doesn't
and
mean that.
that he
Doesn't mean that.
respects his son's pronouns because his son is trans. His name is Alex. And I think because he is Satan, it means he respects pronouns.
It's a very little kid.
He joked and said, "Oh, he's a very literal kid." Yeah, he's literal. He's literal, all right. Because that's what kids are. They think that Santa Claus is real and the Easter Bunny is real also. So now when they grow up and they learn that they're not, at first they're disappointed and then they're like, oh, well, okay, that was fun. Now I'm an adult and I can move on and realize where my Christmas presents come from. But you're confusing kids about basic fundamental truths. Telling this kid that a man is a woman, telling this kid that someone dancing sexy for him is normal. This isn't legitimate. This isn't undangerous. And this isn't healthy. Sick fucks.
I've asked a religious scholar about Satanism. He could have gone on for like 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say, bro. I don't even know what the fuck to say right now. What do you think are some of the biggest problems the LGBTQ community is facing right now?
Laws that are trying to discriminate against queer and trans youth.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
What kind of laws are there?
Like book banning, banning drag queens from performing.
Okay, so there have not been any book bans. This is America. You can buy any book you want as an adult from a store or on the internet, but removing books from schools that are so pornographic and so vulgar in nature that you can't even read them on national television. That's what's happening. And they're going around going, there are book bans like the Nazis. No, you fucking idiots. I'm so mad. Banning drag queens from performing in front of children. Why do drag queens want to be dancing in front of children? Why is that necessary? What are you trying to do?
Youth spaces.
So you think that there should be more drag queens in youth spaces?
I mean, I think as long as people are comfortable with it, why not?
People who are comfortable with pedophilia, that's okay. They should just be able to pedophilia all day long. Bring on the kids. Everybody here is comfortable with over-sexualizing the children, so let's do that. Y'all good? Okay. Bring on the drag queens. Can I bring in some strippers too? Okay. Don't forget the sex toys. What next?
You want more representation of LGBTQ people?
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Have they seen the books? Have they seen the books that have gotten banned?
I'm gonna pop up some of the books right now.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I've been pretty good about staying undercover, but I feel like they're like low-key starting to pick up on it because there's like a lot of people.
See, I don't know how he does it. Okay, so this is where his father's genetics come into play. Because for me, I have no filter. I couldn't sit here and pretend. I have no poker face. I could not pretend to be on this side, be on this team. This kid is pretending, and he's doing a fantastic job of it. I'm not even sure how he's pulling it off.
And like giving me weird looks right now.
His father's a lot
Right after
calmer.
I said that, an LGTV agent came over to check the situation. Nice to meet you.
Communications director for Alex. Nice to meet you. Hey, Alex, what are you guys filming about?
We're just interviewing people with some questions. You want to do it?
What are the questions?
If you don't want us to use it, we won't.
Sure.
First off, what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are he, him, his.
Okay. Are you part of the LGBTQ community or just here to support?
I work here, so I'm more helping to organize. But
I'm just helping to organize.
Yeah. Can I ask what this is about?
Yeah, we're just filming, like we were just doing a vlog thing. So this is my first ever Pride event that I've come to.
Yeah.
So I've never been, I just wanted to document it.
Sure, this is great. What is it for?
Just a channel of mine.
That's great. What's the channel?
It's called Sunny. We're just starting it up though.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Hopefully it goes big.
What a liar.
The LGBTQ community really like picks up on it.
Yep.
So what do you think are some of the biggest problems and challenges the community is facing right now?
Sure. I honestly don't have an answer to that, but the reason I'm asking is because I'm in charge of the communications for this, so I just wanted to make sure like I understand what you're using it for.
Oh, all right. Well,
So,
yeah. It's this. You can ask people, and if they're not comfortable.
No. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing the interview. I just wanted to make sure I understood what people were being asked, but I appreciate you.
Oh, all
recording.
right. Yeah. Thank you. What was your name again? Christian? you said?
Yeah, I'm Christian
All
Merkel
right.
with Boston.
It was great meeting you.
So what would I have done if Sonny told him the truth? He would have asked him to leave. I think that's clear. Or he wouldn't be asking at all. What are you asking these people? Why are you here? What are you going to do with it? Because dissenting opinions are the devil. That's where we're at.
Being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. All right.
I keto those bullets. You allow manipulation to see where your enemy wants you to go, then use your mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrator. I saw the bullets firing and I hit.
This kid's at a Pride event quoting Andrew Tate. It's hilarious.
Aikido, like Steven Seagal.
Do you think that there's an age that kids should be able to transition, or any age?
No. Yeah, no.
Okay. So like one thing I see a lot of conservatives judge the LGBTQ community for is showing stuff to kids. Do you think that's a problem, or do you think it should be the same or even more?
Well, in my humble experience, everyone in the community is super child friendly. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that's like risque for kids is propaganda that's not really actually from the community. You get what I'm saying? So I personally don't think there's an age limit on what like children should be exposed to.
He, him.
I use she, her.
Are you guys part of the community or just here to support the LGBT?
Yeah, I'm gay.
Here to support.
Here to support. What do you think are some of the biggest problems facing the LGBT community right now?
On campus, like at our school, like maybe acceptance and...
Acceptance?
Yeah.
How can people be more accepting?
I think doing what you just did, asking people's pronouns, is a good one.
Of course, I always ask for people's pronouns nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah, and I think definitely, I mean, nationally, the sort of spit of anti-trans and anti...
Up until about 5 minutes ago, nobody had to ask about pronouns because we all knew that men are men and women are women, and some men are more feminine and some women are more masculine, and that was just normal. There's a spectrum. There's a lot of personality. Everybody's a little different. But you've got these kids thinking that if you don't ask for someone's pronouns, that you're rude. They've got them convinced. I mean, really, foolishness. upside down world we're living in.
Legislation pushing back on even medically valid care and medically endorsed care for
especially minors
who need it for their own health, both their physical and their mental health.
What are some of the anti-trans and LGBT legislation being pushed right now? What kind of stuff is it?
I mean, a lot of it is like criminalizing minors having gender-affirming care, so such as puberty blockers, testosterone, estrogen, as well as like gender-affirming surgeries.
Do you think that there's an age that people should be able to make that decision at?
I mean, I don't really know. I'm definitely not the one to decide like this is the cutoff. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's
so like
whatever.
if let's say your 8-year-old son said he's a boy and he wants to get gender surgery to become a girl, like would you just go forward with that?
I don't really know. That would be something that would have to be like talked about with any like doctors as well as psychologists and things like that, and the child themselves, of course.
I'm trapped in my body.
I'll feel you.
I feel like a girl, sir.
Chop it off.
I think I've heard that kind of the earlier that you affirm someone's identity, like you prevent mental health problems later down the line.
So the earlier on the better.
Ooh.
But for affirming care, yeah.
What's the difference between affirming care and surgery? Is that just hormones?
I'm not exactly sure, but just like dressing as someone like
Okay, so like dressing as the other gender?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. What was your name again?
All right, so to repeat, there are no long-term studies that show that hormone transition therapy, puberty blockers are healthy for kids, but there have been a lot of things coming out that show that they're not. And we're also showing that after transition, immediately, there's some sort of a euphoria because you got your way and you've got everyone patting on your back telling you how brave you are, but then they end up being even more depressed, anxious, and suicidal than they were before transition. And I think a lot of that is because they're transitioning people who aren't actually gender dysphoric. There are kids who are just being caught up in this peer pressure, social contagion. It's cool. I mean, back in the 90s, when I was a kid, there was this cutting epidemic where kids were hurting themselves. They were depressed, so they were just literally getting knives and just cutting themselves. And that was terrible and terrifying for parents. And we tried to stop them from hurting themselves. And now they're telling children that if they're depressed, that they must be born in the wrong body and they can take hormones and cut off body parts. No, they're not right. It's just that simple.
Sam.
Progress my
I know
ass.
you guys know my name. We did a little dance over there before. Sunny, but awesome. Thank you guys. We're just interviewing people with some questions. Do you want to be in it?
Depends. What's your agenda?
What's our agenda?
Yeah.
We're just here to, this is my first ever Pride event, so we're just here to learn more.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like you can ask anyone we've interviewed and they'd say we've been respectful and...
Cool. Are you trying to learn more from the place of like how to be a better ally?
I'm just trying to learn more in general.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go suspicious.
My name is Jess. I've been queer for probably longer than you've been alive. I hope that you use the information you learn here in a way that helps lift up the queer community and show that what happens here is from a place of love and care. That's kind of all I have to say. Are you students?
Yeah.
Are you film?
I mean, the one thing I'd say that I'm not the biggest fan of, since, you know, is just like showing this to kids. So I think like showing drag shows to kids isn't really cool. But that's the one thing.
Why?
Why isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Because I think that you shouldn't try to push an agenda regarding sexuality onto children.
Why is that an agenda?
Why is that an agenda? Like,
Why is drag sexual?
why is drag? There was a little kid twerking. Like she was like, what was it? The 6-year-old girl was twerking over there. Is that not sexual? Am I crazy for saying that? Like, I'm really not trying to be rude here.
I think that your intentions are good but misplaced.
Okay.
If we're talking about harm to kids, there's a lot of harm to kids that's out there.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk
All
about
right, here we
school
go.
shootings.
Here we go.
Let's
Okay,
talk
this
about
happens
things-
every single time.
Abuses of power.
Every single time we start to talk about how it's not appropriate for children to twerk. It's not appropriate for children to be exposed to sexual dances and nudity. They don't defend it. They don't deny it. They just simply go to, what about school shootings? What about the Catholic Church? You know, that doesn't mean nobody's in favor of school shootings. Nobody's in favor of priests molesting children and getting away with it. Nobody. They never, ever, ever address the actual issue. They just try to deflect. And you can't do that anymore. We know too much. Cat's out of the bag.
priests molesting kids, that happens a lot.
Oh, of course. No, I'm on board. Like, I think that those are all big problems. So, like, one thing that I see the conservatives talking about the most is not showing this stuff to kids because they don't want, you know, their kids getting in their kids' heads that they're potentially trans because these people believe that it's not born in.
Hold on.
What am I?
There's no. Okay, let me explain something to you guys.
Okay.
Being queer, being trans is not. We're not trying to recruit. Okay.
Not recruiting, huh? This was pretty interesting when buying tickets to the drag show. We're buying the tickets to the Pride event right now. And look at this. There's drag shows and shit going on. Here, let me get tickets. How do I get a discounted rate? Oh, 3 to 11. Should I just identify as a 10-year-old? I guess so. Bro, that's fucked. Why are they even allowing kids at this shit?
I think you guys are on like a fun little train of like your white cis male privilege, if I will. You can like go through the world and the world like works with you.
So then what's the point of...
All right, I'm bored with this girl, with your white cis male. So because you're a white cis male, you don't have an opinion on how other people live, but she can have an opinion and put a label on him. That's fine. You can't, because you're a white cis male, you can't have an opinion on how children are being treated and whether or not children should be protected, even though it's all white cis males, for the vast majority who have protected this country from its inception. That's all. That's all different though, right? This girl, instead of dealing with actual situations, just deflects. And this is not an unusual take on it. So at the end of the day, I was not happy that Sonny went into this event in advance. I'm glad he got out of there without getting into too big of a fight. There is another thing in this video where this girl comes back to them on the ferry off the island and tries to take the camera because she realized that, you know, she was duped by somebody who was just pretending to be an ally. And you know what? Good. I'm glad she was duped because she had nothing of real value to say. We're not recruiting. Then why is this stuff in schools? Why is there more focus on this in schools than there are reading and writing and how to live? Maybe some financial education, just basic financial literacy, some home ec classes so kids know how to cook, some building so they know how to fix things in their house, real life skills. Why is there a focus on who you're attracted to and what mental illness you might have? It's really a sin. I'm really disgusted, but I'm proud of Sonny for doing this. You know, I don't like the lying aspect of it, but I actually prefer that he pretended to be an ally than went in there confrontationally because I don't think these people are mentally stable. I don't think they're safe. All right, well, stay out of these places, Sonny. All right, do me a favor. You're going to give me a heart attack.